Hello there guys, and welcome back to SimCity Cities of Tomorrow. In the last video we managed to get our fusion power plant up and running. We recuperated a lot of space by destroying the power plant that we had here, the original wind farm that we started with, and miraculously all of the trees have grown back. So the thing I was planning to do next was to hopefully get the OmegaCo up and running. Now, I did say that I'm going to make one of the other cities in the region my highly industrial city, a city that has a lot of production where we can build. If we look at the city specialization tab, there is a... where is it? I think it might just all be under drilling or something, but you can basically produce like petroleum HQs and ore mines, metals HQ if you're mining and things like that. I'd like to get some of those built, but that's probably going to be on another map, on another city, because these things take up a huge amount of room. So we'll consider doing that on another plot of land. So what I'm probably going to do is we'll quickly just go back to this area here. I'm going to have a look at these three plots to see what resources are available on them. I'm probably going to try and make one of them into an industrial trade type city, and I'm probably also going to make one of them into an education stroke culture and tourism city. We'll have to see how that goes. I may end up using all four. I don't really know at this point. It depends how much space I have to build and how the resources are spread. And then what I might consider doing then is inviting a few people to come and claim some of these other patches on the further reaches, which I probably won't end up using. But I'm not making a decision on that yet. I at least want to get my city set up here first. But we do want to have an OmegaCo, at least one, here, because you need it to be able to produce the drones. Now it still says we're having issues with the sewage, which I find strange because we do have excess sewage capacity, so I'm not sure why it is struggling. Now it could be this issue that it says there aren't enough people working here. Now this is something that I find strange. As one of the viewers did say, it could be that, because obviously this is a mod that's reporting these figures, it could be that the mod isn't working properly. Well, even if that's true, there's not many people working here at all. If we took the mod off, it would probably still say that there's like 200 jobs and there's only 25 people working here, so it does seem strange that there are so few jobs. But it's mainly telling us, if we mouse over here, that there's too much sewage for this sewage outflow pipes. Although the problem disappears periodically from time to time, it's just gone there. We certainly should be able to handle the capacity. I don't see what the issue is. Of course, we could build the sewage sanitizer. Now, the treatment plant gives us maximum sewage flow rate. Advanced filtration technology allows direct conversion of waste water into potable water again. Grab a glass. Right, so how big is this thing? It's quite small, but it doesn't seem to be as good as the sewage treatment plant, because the sewage treatment plant will deal with 52 kilogallons per hour, whereas this only deals with 26.3 kilogallons per hour. So that seems quite odd, and it's got a higher running cost as well. I don't know. That is something we will consider and maybe upgrade that at a future point. Not enough room to increase density. Of course, this here is an industrial building. Unknown. Can't really deal with a lot anyway. However, we do certainly have enough money. We will get some more residential going. I would like to get some more industrial going at some point as well. What did we get built on here? We had an apartment level, and an office level. So hopefully, see, all the jobs are full in the office level. And we did have an apartment level here that was struggling at some point. In fact, it was struggling to the point where we closed it off. Let's turn it back on and see what happens. Obviously, it's still saying we're okay because there's nobody moved in yet, but we're going to see how that progresses. In the meantime, it's time to get our OmegaCo. Right. What's the problem here? Oh, no research projects going on at the academy. What were we researching then? Was it the sky bridges? No. Wave power plant, fusion power plant, fusion reactor level, control net facility. Now that could be useful. We are starting to use more and more stuff that does use that, but I want to get a couple of sky bridges going. So let's go for the sky bridges first. Let's get that up and running. I think we do have plenty of spare control net at the moment. Power should still be looking good. We have a huge excess of power at the moment. So let us take our OmegaCo, and I've gone off the menu again. So Omega discovered, all Sims must embrace the wonder of Omega. Omega production requires a factory for production. Now you do need the Omega HQ at some point, but you only need one of those per region as far as I'm aware. The OmegaCo HQ divisions allow you to use drones to convert houses into franchises, extract resources directly at your OmegaCo factory, or fly resources into your city via VTOL. But what we're going to do is we're going to take an OmegaCo factory. It's actually quite smaller than I thought it was going to be. So we could put it down. Let's put it down here, and that will give us room to expand should we need to. I would like to try and get some more industry in the area, though. Unfortunately, I've really run out of useful space to build it, and I've been quite silly with some of the stuff that I have built. Okay, that mission we got last time to build a community college and get 50 people into higher education, we have now completed, so that's done and dusted. Might be able to start getting rid of some of these power plants, because we don't really need all this many, but before we do, we're definitely going to have a look and see how much power that we end up using with the OmegaCo factory. Water pumping station is still doing fine. Right, we still seem to have this apartment level problem here. And again, it's still saying there's apartment level problems, but it's not saying why people aren't moving in. Bit of a strange one. Okay, what have we got going on here? Let's have a look at this. Want to expand the community college. Well, we have already expanded, really. There's not an awful lot else we can do. We've already put one extension wing on there. I mean, we could go for another, potentially. Although we are getting quite short of space to actually put it down now. But we'll put another one here. Let's get some people into education. We've got some space that we can use. Not an awful lot. And this is the thing. I didn't make this city look particularly pretty, but that wasn't what I was going for. Seems to be getting a lot of issues popping up now. Buildings have run out of crude oil. If you have an oil well, check that it's operating properly and import some from a trade depot. Have we run out of oil? It says it's working. It's producing barrels. It's not producing a great number of barrels, but it is producing barrels. Let's have a little look at our oil map, which is here somewhere. Well, it still looks like there is oil there under the city. There's definitely oil still working its way down the pipeline, so I don't know why it's complaining about that. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. OmegaCo. OmegaCo needs oil. That's probably what the complaint was, actually. It needs oil and it needs ore. Okay, well, we're aware of that. Now, it has neither of either at the moment. But we know we need ore. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our other trade depot, the one where we built ore storage. And we are going to import ore, because we don't have any. So let's speed things up a little. See what happens. See if we actually start getting the ore that we need. Losing quite a bit of money now, actually. We're still in profit, of course. We spent a fair bit on research. Taxes are all where they should be. We're still selling oil. We're still selling processors. We're still selling metal. Of course, just because we're only making 4,000 simoleons an hour doesn't mean that we're going to lose a lot of money, because, of course, we are making massive amounts of money by all the stuff that we're selling. So we've just spent 7,680 simoleons on raw ore, and as I explained a couple of videos ago, we're just kind of buying it from the nether because we aren't actually producing anywhere in the city. They still need oil though. Now we are producing oil. Yep, definitely producing oil. 1,650 barrels per day. Cruise oil under building, 6-month supply. So we may start getting into trouble later on. And we may have to move our sort of oil wells around a little bit and possibly destroy some buildings or two. Let's just have a quick look at what we can do here, actually. Because, for example, we do have some buildings here that can't actually increase their density, which is a bit problematic. Let's have a look at the oil well itself. Could we, for example... Oh, an augmented oil pump jack. Ah, you need an OmegaCo HQ in the region. Okay. But could we put another oil pump over here? No, because I think it actually needs to connect to the service road. But these houses can't expand, so placing one there would have been ideal. Yeah, we don't really have any extra room we could put one in. Could we even build a service road to go around there? Probably not. Yeah, it won't let us go through the oil pumps we've already placed. But of course we can do that if one of those pumps becomes obsolete, which it may well do at a future point. So we've got these buildings here. And they probably can't do an awful lot to expand. But of course we are on top of the road. We can't build anything on that side of it, which is very annoying. And then we've got this large building here, which we don't want to do anything with. So, a bit of a bad place to put it, really, but it was the only place I had oil. It kind of had to go in the middle of the city. But what I might do is, if we start running out of oil, might destroy some of these, move the service road this way, and build in this direction. Wouldn't like to take out any of these big buildings, ideally. But it doesn't always work out that way. Now, what I might do here, actually, is just destroy that plaza. And the reason for that is it will actually give us more room there for these buildings to increase their density. So that's what we want to do there. Right, we've got a lot of pop-ups coming up. This is the trade depot. We can build a trade HQ, which I don't really want to do because I don't have the room. So that's probably something I'll do in my industrial type city. What else do we want? Let's have a quick look at the OmegaCo. Well, it looks like it's doing something. It has oil and it has... Right, do we need somewhere to put Omega? That's the question. It's certainly working away. Let's have a look and find our trade depot that's got some spare places. Right, what have we got here? Fuel, which we're not dealing with. Computer storage lots, which we're not really dealing with. We're at our limit for anything anyway, so we're in a little bit of trouble there. What have we got there? TV storage lot. Processors, plastics, alloy, metal, raw ore, oil, freight, coal. Okay, fair enough. So it doesn't look like the Omega actually goes anywhere, but we do have the OmegaCo now producing, working away. Now what can we do with that? So we've got these various things we can put on there, like production lines. It already has one on, of course, because you start with one on there by default. Eventually we can get a drone assembly line, so we're going to need the drone assembly line before we can do anything else. So I'm definitely going to have to get my industrial city up and running. Global market VTOL pad, extraction pod, and an extraction pod pipeline. So connect your extraction pods to the pipeline and get those hard to reach spots. Both raw ore and crude oil extracted by extraction pods are securely sent through this pipeline for exclusive use in a factory. So that's quite a clever thing then. With the sounds of that, you can actually just put an extraction pod over some oil and then just have a pipe that goes straight into the OmegaCo factory as opposed to having to have it delivered via truck. So that could be quite useful. It looks like it's putting out quite a lot of pollution, actually. Let's have a look. Yes, it does put out quite a bit of pollution, doesn't it? That's quite nasty. Okay, we definitely need to do something about industry. We don't have nearly enough of it going on, and of course, we don't have an awful lot of space for it either. What we may try and do is get back into the right menu, take our roads tool, and build along... not quite there, actually. Let's try there. Build along behind the OmegaCo. And we will zone ourselves some industry along the back there. There might be a bit of room for it to grow. Now, half considering getting rid of this sewage plant and building the new one. We've got quite a demand for residential now as well. Now, how is that residential level going in here? Level 4, you're still unhappy. Shopping here is really good. What makes us happy? So this is the annoying thing. You're not telling me what the problem is. Everything is telling me that you should be happy. Nope, I'm totally confused. Why is there a problem here? Let's speed things up. And hope the problem will go away. Now, we do need to get some... Did we have an abandoned building earlier? I think it said we did. Yes, we do. Need to find it. Okay, where are you hiding? Ah, there it is. Not enough freight shipments. Ah, so we are definitely short on industry then if we are getting those sort of messages. Because the commerce does rely on industry to supply them. So that is a problem, certainly. It may be worth, and it's going to be next to the residential, which probably isn't a good thing. But it may be worth getting rid of these power plants. How are we doing for power? Even with the OmegaCo, we have a colossal excess of power. Let's get rid of these. I have a plan. Right, now we've still got one running here for now. But that should still leave us with plenty of power. Wow, it doesn't leave us with as much power as I thought it would. It's unbelievable how much power those were producing. But that's not a problem, because what we can do is we can add another standard fusion reactor on there. And instantly, that puts us back up into the green. So now we've got some space over here. Admittedly, the road's a little bit janky. But that is some additional space where we can potentially build ourselves some more industry. Close to the houses than I'd normally like it to be, but needs must. So let's just go across there with that. Now I think it's just a case of literally building anywhere that we can build. So let's go along here. It's struggling with some spots for some reason. Don't think we can really do anything else over there. So we are getting some boats in the area. We could have a port in there, but there doesn't seem to be an awful lot of reason for that. Industrial demand is going down now. There's still a very high demand for low wealth residential, which is what confuses me even more about this apartment. We've got a demand for low wealth residential, we've got an apartment level here, and nobody is moving in. And I just cannot understand the reason for that. So let's add another low wealth apartment to this stack and see what happens. Let's get... What can we have here for services? Anything useful? Not really. So we will start construction with a low wealth apartment level and see how that turns out for us. What do the OmegaCo want us to do? Could use some more income. Let's hook more factories on Omega and rake in more cash. Prove that you can convert more factories to OmegaCo franchises and I'll give you a bonus. Well, how do we do that then? So what's the quest here? Convert... Oh, let's put the mouse over it. Convert 4 factories into OmegaCo franchises. Okay, well, we have factories. How do we make a factory into an OmegaCo franchise? Let's have a look here. Drone assembly line. Maybe we need drones. Produce drones from processors. Drones fly to houses to become buy drones for shoppers, converting those houses to OmegaCo subscribers. OmegaCo subscribers' houses that receive Omega goods from buy drones become OmegaCo Gold members, providing double the profits. Drones are also sent to safety levels in mega towers or hangars in hospitals, large fire stations, or police precincts where they replace public servants. Okay. Doesn't really answer the question though, does it? Let us now go back into the OmegaCo view here. Oops, some happiness problems there. Or sickness, there's sickness there. That's fine, okay. So, amass powers of simoleons, you can convert factories and shops in your city and the region into OmegaCo franchises. Amass powers of simoleons, as you... yeah, it doesn't really tell you how though. Maybe it's something that just happens automatically. Because I don't seem to be able to find any way of doing it. Okay, well we'll leave it for a little bit of time. See what happens. This factory can't increase density. Do I replace the sewage plant? It hasn't actually come up with any issues for a while now. It does seem to be handling it quite well. It would be nice to get everything going with this sort of futuristic type thing. It'd certainly give us a bit more room here for industry, because we could place the sewage line somewhere over here, which would... yes, this is the problem with space, isn't it? Sewage does appear to be getting where it needs to go eventually. It's just getting there rather slow, of course, although it is actually disappearing, using our... capacity quite rapidly. So the question is now, do I expand this current one or do I put the new one in? I suppose having a new one in somewhere else wouldn't be a bad idea, given that all the sewage seems to be flowing in one direction, and that's partially the cause of the problem. Fortunately, we don't really have a lot of room to expand in any direction. Okay, how big was this? Do we really want it next to the mayor's house? Not especially. We can kind of fit it in there, but then we've got no chance of upgrading it later on, which is a big problem. We could potentially destroy half of the industry on this island, which again is something I don't want to have to do. We've only just built this industry here, and that would be putting the sewage disposal right next to the residential, which again is something I don't want to do, but needs must, I guess. We are struggling for space quite badly now, so let's have a look. Yep, I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to put it on the end here and unfortunately have to destroy some of these factories. But once that gets control signal, that should be able to deal with some of the outflow. Of course, we know that there were going to be happiness issues here. That was bound to happen when we put that down. So what we will do is we'll go back to parks, and what were we going for here? What sort of wealth are we looking at? We're sort of low to medium wealth, so we'll look at medium wealth, and we'll go for nature. We'll get ourselves like a, I don't know, a wavy path park or something, and we'll put a couple of those in, and hopefully they will help to remove the pong a little bit. We'll see how well that works out. It is closed, so it'll take a little while before it gets enough people for us to see any tangible results from it. Oh, apparently we have converted a factory into an OmegaCo franchise, so it does look like it's an automated thing that just happens over time. I don't know how we know which ones are OmegaCo franchises. Okay, we do appear to be having problems. Oh, wow. We apparently do not have enough control net. That's going to be problematic. So what we're going to do for the time being, we're going to turn that off. Well, I just turned it off. We're going to turn it off completely. And that will mean everything else should carry on running. And then when we've finished researching the Sky Bridge, we're going to need to have to research and put out the control net boost. Which means for the time being, I'm going to have to add... Are we full here? Can we add no more? There we go. We're going to have to add on another one of those for the time being. Getting quite a lot of sick people now. Sickness does seem to be a thing. It might be time to upgrade our clinic. I mean, our clinic isn't taxed, but it doesn't have the facility or ability to deal with large volumes of sick people. Now, how big is the hospital going to be? If we were to decide to build the hospital, yeah, and well, that'd take out a huge chunk of commerce. I guess we could do that. Yeah, right, the hospital's going down. We'll sell the clinic as soon as we can, and we'll turn that into commercial as well. So, let's go and have a look at the hospital. So, what can we do here? Well, of course, we can add more ambulances. We already get some to start with, but let's have some more. We can't have Medi-drones yet because we don't have all that set up. A wellness centre. Dispatches wellness van to visit residents in the city. Wellness van helps Sims clean up, removing some of the germs that can cause sickness. Prevention is better than cure. So it's almost the same as having like the fire safety marshals at the fire station. So we are going to need one of those. And again, these things take up so much space. It's actually quite scary. So we are going to put one of those down. Patient rooms wing. So we'll put one of those down. And an emergency centre for dealing with the injuries. Diagnostic labs and surgical centres we can't have yet. We need universities for those. Let's find somewhere for this to go. We're just destroying buildings left, right and centre. So let's put it that side of the road actually, then it doesn't have to destroy anything. Okay, so that's that done. It's closed and now hiring. As soon as it's up and running, we will get rid of the original clinic. As you can see, we're instantly now in a massive cash deficit because we're doing that. Fire service is slow. Now, traffic is definitely something that I am going to have to sort out because it is a bit of an issue at the moment. We've got so much traffic on some of the roads. As you can see, in some places, it's total gridlock. Once we can get drones, of course, that's going to make life a lot easier. The fire service doesn't appear to be particularly taxed. I think it's just a case of it takes them so long to get anywhere. That's our biggest problem right now. So, come on, hospital. I need you to do your thing. It's still closed and hiring. There's only one person that works there. Let's speed things up. Again, we can stand to lose 163 simoleons per hour because we're probably gaining more than that from all of the materials and stuff that we are selling. Still only managed to get one of the 4 OmegaCo factories. Still really struggling to get that number of people into a house of worship, so hopefully that will sort itself out. Hospital is now up and running, so we are going to bulldoze our old clinic. Being very careful not to bulldoze the police precinct, of course. We actually have a building which has become rubble. Which basically means it was an abandoned building and I've left it for so long it has now turned into rubble. It's actually over here. And it was a building fire. I mean, yeah, just look at the traffic coming in and out of the city. This is what the reason why the police haven't been able to respond to anything. But, I mean, these are the traffic problems that are very, very difficult to deal with. I mean, this is literally just one junction. It's the first junction in and out of the city. And it is practically gridlock. I mean, what can you really do here? There isn't an awful lot that you can do to alleviate these problems. You could try and connect up some more of these roads, but I'm not necessarily sure that that is going to solve the issue. If anything, it's probably going to make it worse, but we'll certainly give it a go. We'll get these connected up. Can't actually connect to that one because that's where I've got the maglev station, but we'll connect any of these up that we can connect up to give some of the vehicles another way in and out. But they're not smart. They don't try and avoid traffic. If anything, they just end up all going to one junction. But if it helps improve the flow of traffic, I am willing to give it a go. As you can see as we zoom out, everything's colour-coded. So green areas is good traffic flow. As it starts to turn to yellow, it's getting worse into orange. And when you get areas that are red, it's like this one little area here is just almost complete gridlock. And you have to ask yourself, well, why? Where is everybody going? And why are they using these sort of 4 roads and nothing else? It's a little bit strange. So let's get out of that. OmegaCo's telling us something. Nope. Omega needed. We're running short of oil. Yes, I think what we may have to do is go to our trade depot that's selling the oil, and we may have to just use the oil locally. So no more money from selling the oil, but remember, if we can use the oil to make Omega, we are probably actually making more money from it doing that than we are by selling it. So we've got a lot of futuristic looking buildings now. Yeah, can't do an awful lot with that. How's the power situation looking? Let's have a quick look at that. Still good. Very good. Don't need to worry about anything in there. We've got the hospital, which now should have some staff. It's still not fully staffed, but it is staffed. Won't really build anything in there because I've kind of stupidly put the maglev in the way. Let's have a quick look at the zoning again. Still got a very high demand for industrial and a very high demand for low wealth residential. We've got our apartments here. Max population, max population, max population. But have we still got the same problem on this? Tech was level 4, wasn't it? Yeah, for some reason, this one level of the tower never seems to get any people in it. And I'm completely unable to work out why. I mean, that must be a bug, right? Because it's not telling me why they won't move in. That I don't understand. And to get at that, I'd have to take so many levels off. It's just not worth dealing with. It is costing us money. So let's turn it off. It's better to have it there and turned off than waste all the money destroying and rebuilding all of these levels at the top of the tower. So we have our OmegaCo. It is struggling for oil. That's its biggest problem. Let's speed things up. Let's speed things up a little bit as well, just so we can see how the money is flowing, because we've still got a fair bit of money. We are still into a positive. Of course, we're having to buy the ore, and we're also using all of the oil we produce. But we are selling our metals. We are selling our alloys. So I'm going to have another city in the region which we will be able to hopefully produce things like TVs and stuff like that, which we're going to need if we're going to build the archaeology on one of the Wonders sites. And it also means that I can start producing things like the Petroleum HQ and the Metals HQ and the Trade HQ and things like that. So I'll have a city that probably isn't very futuristic and will probably be quite sort of dirty and grimy, but it will just mainly concentrate on the production. I mean, this is the thing, you have to kind of think of the region as one big city and not a collection of cities, because certain things like your services you can actually sell between the different regions, and a lot of the buildings affect the entire region anyway. It is a bit of a contrived mechanic that was kind of done just to try and force a single player game to become a multiplayer game, but it does work to a certain level. It just means your city's a little bit more split up. Obviously now, of course, we have health that we can sell because we have a lot of ambulances, and we also have the wellness fan, which we could sell. Don't think we can actually do it, of course, because at this point we don't have any claimed territory. But what you could do is you could collect another, like Willow Woods. I could select Willow Woods and say that I want to loan you 2 of my ambulances, and that's the way that works. As soon as we get some more regions up and running, I'll be able to show you guys the way that works. But as you can see, just in the time I've been talking there, we've gone up from, what, 180,000 to 268,000. So we are doing very, very well there. OmegaCo seems to be up and running again now. So there doesn't actually appear to be any Omega sort of storage. Obviously, we've got our oil storage and our ore storage. But it tells us how much Omega was produced today and yesterday, as far as crates go. Not many workers here either, which is a strange thing. So definitely, I think the reason we've got such a high demand for industrial is probably because we have such a lot of commercial, and the commercial requires freight. So we could essentially remove some of the commercial. The problem with removing the commercial, of course, is it means that you then get a lot of residents that don't have anywhere to shop. So it is a matter of finding a good balance between everything. Apparently now we don't have one OmegaCo franchise. So the one that we did have, we have somehow lost. Probably because we weren't actually able to produce any crates of Omega yesterday. So we do seem to be struggling with the oil. If only there were a way for us to produce more, and I don't think there is without us destroying half of the houses. I mean, there is a bit of commercial here that we could potentially destroy. It's very, very risky business doing this, though. This was this little place earlier, if you remember. We actually had to... we destroyed a park here so we could make this all into residential, and now it's turned into a bigger building. So all is going well. Haven't had an upgrade on the mayor's mansion for a while. I think that's because we are struggling a little bit to get that 85% plus approval rating. So it's mainly the industrial happiness bringing us down, because we're only at 84%. But it is going up. Residential's going down slightly. It's mainly the high wealth that are unhappy. They're scared about crime, and they want us to raise the value of lands. Didn't like that kids couldn't go to school. So obviously we are having some issues with lack of classrooms. Commercial want freight, of course, and industrial... We don't have any medium tech industrial. That's probably why we've got such a demand for it. We've got low and high tech, but no medium tech. And they are saying that they need workers. So we do have a few problems that we need to sort out. Yeah, quite a few people say that schooling is an issue. I'm not sure how many extra classrooms we can fit on, though, to be honest. Top floor classroom. Let's get another one of those on. That's the limit reached there. We'll put another bus on for you. We do have a few schools around, but I think most of them have the maximum number of classrooms on them. That one certainly does. I'm sure there's at least one more. It was over here somewhere, buried behind everything else that I can no longer see. Let's go to education. Where are you? Education. Is it there? Grade school. I've got a feeling this one's also fully upgraded, though. Yeah, it is. So, if we want another school, we're going to have to find somewhere to build one, which is going to be problematic. Not to mention, it's going to cost us more money. Of course, we've already got a community college in. Could we fit another school in somewhere? Yes, we could. Not too sure if having it next to the industrial area is necessarily a brilliant idea. Let's put it in there. We've got the space. Of course, the other thing that we can do is if we actually have more schools and colleges and even things like a university in the region, then we can actually have people go from one region to another to get their education. They'll essentially commute instead of all having to go to school in the city in which they live. Still short of oil at the OmegaCo factory, so I think what we're actually going to have to do is start buying oil in, which I really want to avoid doing, but that is going to be something for next time, I feel. So getting the oil sorted out. What I might do though now is make a start on one of my other cities. I'll probably get some of the basics set up, just like getting the roads in, getting the first few residential areas up, getting things like power and everything running before I start filming it, because obviously I'll just be showing you the same things that I did with this video, really, unless I do that. What have we got here? See, these have gone straight to high tech. So this is the issue. We could increase the density, but there is really no point. So I hope you're still enjoying the series, guys, and I'll see you next time. So until then, goodbye for now.